Welcome to another edition of the Texas Tech Gridiron Report. I'm Jarret Johnson. I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, man, how you doing today?
Not too bad, Jarret. How you doing?
I'm good, man. The weather's kind of cooled off just a little bit. We're still hiding in the shade here, but the weather's cooled off a little bit to give us a little bit of a break because, man, it's been hot. You know, and the fellas out there in fall camp, man, whew, they've been just sizzling under the West Texas sun. I actually talked to one of the refs that's there at practice, and he said he got heat exhaustion last week and lost 25 pounds. Like, I'm not talking about like he sweated out and put it back on, but like he was out of commission, lost 25 pounds. And he was actually like, well, since I survived, I'm kind of glad I lost the weight because I needed to lose it. But yeah, I mean, heat exhaustion is no joke. I actually got it not this last spring, but the spring before at an open practice where we were told we were going to get like 30 minutes. And we ended up getting over 3 hours. And I'd loaded up on coffee all morning. You were there, remember? And we did one of these videos afterwards, and we got locked in the Jones, of all places. Most people were locked out. We were locked in, and we couldn't get out, and we were going up and down the stairs and everything, and I'd already had like whatever episode I'd had. And it's one of those where I was like, you know, hiding in the shower, like ice cold water, like, you know, am I gonna survive? It's the worst bout of heat exhaustion I've ever had all of my days. My Uncle Rico days, all that, was that day when I loaded up on coffee and didn't drink enough water, thinking I was just going to get 30 minutes, and we were out there for 3 hours. But that's what they've been dealing with. A little bit of a break today. We've actually, beyond just dealing with the heat, we have learned some pretty good information from both our time at practice, but also just on Monday, Coach Wells was available, Coach Yost was available, and Coach Patterson was available. Bam, bam, bam. So really great info. And one of the main things that came out was, look, Alan Bowman's the quarterback, right? We know he's going to be the starting quarterback. There is no really no competition there. But there's a three-man battle for backup, and it sounds like, look, Maverick McIver, he's impressing. Bottom line is, and he's impressed me with his arm. He's got a real arm. We've seen some pretty dang good arms just in the last 6 years. Obviously, the reigning MVP Patrick Mahomes is the tip top. But Davis Webb, and you go on down the list, we've seen some really good arms here. Maverick McIver, really impressive. He's not Patrick Mahomes type arm because not too many of those guys exist, but have ever existed. But he's impressive. He has an over the top delivery, quick release, really puts some stank on it. He gets there in a hurry, and he's been accurate. So I like him, but he's also recovering from that knee. So we'll have to see. Now Jackson Tyner, grad transfer from Rice, 6'5", 230, big dude. He's played some for Rice. Played baseball for Rice. He graduated from Rice, so we know he's a smart guy. He's been impressive. At the first scrimmage, both him and Maverick made some really good throws that impressed David Yost. Now, I asked Coach Yost, the offensive coordinator, specifically, well, what about Jet Duffy? We're not hearing about him. Well, Jet has not been doing all that great, bottom line. He didn't look, out of the four quarterbacks, he did not look as good as the other three, and he needs to come on. I heard he did have a good day on Monday, but this upcoming scrimmage, if he wants to solidify his spot as the backup, he needs to step up this upcoming scrimmage. Well, what are your thoughts about where the quarterback situation is right now, Joe?
Yeah, boy, it sounds like some turmoil almost. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty, because, I mean, what do you got here? We got Alan Bowman, which we know we can count on, assuming that
he's healthy. Yeah,
assuming that he stays healthy. And then what do you got? You got a true freshman with a bum knee. You got a transfer from Rice.
Walk-on, too.
A walk-on transfer from Rice that you really don't know that much about as to what he can do at this level. Sure, in practice is one thing.
Right.
You throw him in there against a real Big 12 opponent, who knows what happens.
Yeah.
And then you got Jet, who has lots of skill, but you wonder if maybe his struggles are coming with the fact that he's in a new system, and he's having to learn all that stuff again. That's not always the easiest thing in the world to do. So those are your three backups, to Alan Bowman. So, I mean, it's nice to hear that the Rice guy is impressing, but you'd feel a little bit better if Duffy was really coming along and was even pushing Bowman a little bit, So it's a concern, and, I think you really want to know a little bit about Maverick's knee and exactly the extent to which that is fully recovered, the extent to which it could slow him down, and just what the situation is with that knee, because that could be a very important deal.
Absolutely. And you know what? Coach Wells was asked about that, and he said, "Oh, he's good to go. He's ready to go." But, and obviously I take him at his word. But this, from my perspective, seeing him, I mean, the knee brace is bulky. I mean, he's not going to be running around. They're not going to be calling any design runs for him. Not that they're going to be calling a lot of design runs for Alan Bowman either, per se. But I mean, and I think that's something to point out. Like, Jet never looks good in these kind of situations where they can't tackle the quarterback and all that. I mean, he's a throw him out in the game and let him make plays, kind of, running around, doing a lot of things with his legs. So this isn't really conducive to him playing well. Now, sounds like he's turning the ball over still. If he's doing that, you can't. It's going to be hard to play him. So that's the problem with Jet. So, all right. And another thing that really grabbed my attention that I wanted to ask you about or get your opinion on, it sounds like Dawson Deaton, and this is some good news. Yay. Dawson Deaton has really solidified that center spot. He's looked good when I've been out there. Snaps have been good. He's been getting a real push. Him and Jack Anderson, his old high school teammate, they are really working well together, getting a good push. And some of the drills I saw against even the starting defensive front, who looks really good, by the way. Wow, that's the strength of the team, by the way, going into the season, is Texas Tech's defensive line. They look really good, and it's deeper than I thought it was going to be. But I really like the fact that, kind of like what you said about Jet, you wanted to see him push Alan Bowman. You really want to see someone, just anybody, come take over that center spot. And it looks like, by all accounts and what I've seen in limited capacity, Dawson Deaton is taking over that center spot.
Yeah, that is really, really good news, because that was the chief source of concern in the offensive line, was that center position. We were looking at Bailey Smith or Dawson Deaton most likely, and you had even thrown the idea of Jack Anderson coming over there. So if you got that nailed down with somebody that you can count on in Dawson Deaton, then that solves a lot of problems. I mean, it solves that center position, and not only that, it improves your depth.
Yes.
I mean, it gives you another guy up there that you can count on. And now Bailey Smith probably becomes depth, and although you may not feel too comfortable about him possibly as a starter, you would think he would be certainly more than serviceable as a backup. And of course, Deaton himself can play a lot of different positions as well. So yeah, that's really good news all the way around.
Some other guys who are stepping up, I've been hearing about them since spring. Now, we were on the road with the basketball team, right? I mean, during spring, so we weren't here as much as we have been in years past. But at the same time, I heard about Weston Wright and Casey Verhulst. Now, honestly, I heard about Gio Pancotti a lot too, even though he's transferred to Houston. So that one, of all the people who left, that attrition hurt the worst was Gio Pancotti, because I feel like he could play for the Red Raiders right now. But bottom line is, I really like what we're seeing from Casey Verhulst and Weston Wright. I think they're going to help. And then if you can get Steele back at tackle, who's been out an extended period of time with an upper body injury, that's all we know about it right now, then I think the offensive line may round into shape, Joe.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, that's Wright and Verhulst were not guys that everybody had penciled in necessarily as guys that were going to, be in the rotation or anything like that. So if they're in that position because they are truly good and good enough to be in a Big 12 rotation, that's fantastic. You just hope they're not in there because out of default, because you hadn't got anybody else, yeah, anytime you get a couple of new guys come along, a couple of new names that emerge like that, that's also very good news.
Well, I'll leave it at this, which I thought was a really good sign, was Travis Bruffy told me, I believe it was Big 12 Media Day, that Weston Wright, I said, just any other offensive lineman that maybe we should know about? He said Weston Wright is one of the most talented guys he's ever been around on the offensive line. So, and the next thing you know, I'm seeing him in practice, and not because someone got hurt, but he's been playing a lot in place of Madison Akamnanium, he always seems to play when it comes to game day, but he always seems to be in basically looking like he's going to lose a spot, like just right on the brink of losing a spot. So that's definitely, that left guard spot is definitely one to watch there. But Mighty Joe, great stuff from you as always. Thank you all for watching, and until next time.